Well, good morning. Glad to have a chance to come back home and play, even though it's only been 2 weeks. It seems like an eternity since we played a game here. So anxious to get back to work and see if we can't get better. We're disappointed with the result last week on the road, so we got to move on. We got to get ready for a very talented North Carolina team who, beat us a year ago up there and a high-scoring shootout. So I think that we're better defensively. We're going to have a chance to find out, and we got to see if we can't get our bearings offensively and play a little better than we have the last 2 weeks.
You mentioned trying to get better offensively. What is the one thing you would like to see be done more efficiently or better in your words?
Well, we just got to execute better. We got to coach better, but we got to execute better. We're getting, critical mistakes on, third down, third and shorts, fourth and shorts. I mean, just inexcusable stuff from guys who have played. And so when you do that, you never get a rhythm. You never get anything going. And then I think that we have guys who are starting to press. And then when they start to press, it gets worse when they get out of the system and start trying to do things on their own. So just got to get some continuity and clean it up. I thought that we had it really simplified last week, but clearly we didn't do a very good job getting them ready because we had a lot of mistakes.
The standings might indicate that the ACC is looking top-heavy right now with the ranked teams of Florida State and Clemson, but is North Carolina an example that there is maybe more depth than that?
I think not only North Carolina, I think there's a lot of teams. I think the team we played last week is a good team. I mean, they're good defensively. I can tell you that. I said that going in, and I didn't see anything to change my mind. I don't know if they're where they have been offensively, but defensively they're pretty good. And so, I think there's there's not an easy team in our league. It's hard to pick one out to say, okay, man, you ought to blow them out. That's an easy game. I think the league's gotten better every year.
When you have to fill in positions like the A-back with freshmen, how difficult is it for players like Quaid and McKell to adapt to that position?
Well, McKell he's ready to play. He's going to play this week. I said that last week. I thought he'd play, but he's definitely going to play this week. So he should be ready. Quaid's been there for a week and a half. We'll see how he practices. But we're down about 4 guys at that position. In the game Saturday, Taquan Marshall went out after 4 plays. So you take out Nathan Cottrell, who was probably the more experienced and the better guy in fall camp as a freshman. Then you lose Quay Searcy. Then we have to have Matthew Jordan move back to quarterback. And then when you lose Taquan, I mean, there's about 4 of them hurt at one position. So it's like the other guys are going to get an opportunity, and they have – but the whole key is those guys aren't playing any worse. The young guys aren't necessarily the guys making the mistakes. I mean, we got the guys who played who are blocking the wrong guys and making mistakes. That's what's so disappointing.
You got some good work out of Ricky this past week in the game. Is that something you can build upon? Because I know you got to have that threat to kind of.
Yeah, I thought he made some plays in the passing game, and what we got to do is certainly we need to utilize him, but we've got to let it come to him. We can't just be looking for him all the time. I think Brad Stewart's very capable of making some plays. He just hasn't yet. We'll try to find a third guy there to spell him some. Right now, that's a work in progress. Again, losing Mike Summers at that position was a killer. Christian Philpott misses all the summer in camp with being hurt, so it puts him behind. We've just got to continue to work there and see if we can't get us a rotation, steal some snaps with some of those other guys so those guys don't have to play 80 snaps.
After the play of the special teams Saturday, will you look at personnel this week in practice?
Yeah, we'll look at everything. I mean, that's, it's bad. You want to talk about the game, and as poorly as we played offensively, and we played poorly, that's the most yards and the most points they've given up all year. We killed ourselves, and I mean, basically we gave up 3 scores in special teams. And you snap the ball over the punter's head, you really get a kickoff return for a touchdown and a punt return to the 1-yard line. I don't care who you're playing. You better be really good if you're going to win that game. And it's really a credit to the kids that they had a chance, and we had a chance to win, had a couple. You know, if we could have finished off some drives just to fight back and come back from all that. So certainly that's an area we got to clean up. I mean, the kickoff return was a really good kick. It was down to the goal line. It was high. It was hang time. The punt was a little long punt, but I mean, he kicked it, I think, 57 yards. But you got to cover the dang thing. You know, we got 2 or 3 guys who run by the ball and miss tackles. There's always, anytime you look at the tape, it's never as good or as bad as you think when you watch it. I mean, there's always going to be usually little things that you could do differently that change the total outcome of a play or whatever. You know, once in a while you'll just get run over. I mean, it's like I've said before, physical superiority cancels all theory sometimes. But that really hadn't been the case. I mean, we self-inflict on ourselves enough damage that, to their credit, these kids, they keep fighting. They don't give up. But they dig themselves such a hole. I mean, 7 minutes in, we're 19-3 down. You dig yourself a pretty good hole on the road against a good defense. It's not where you want to be.
Paul, when you look at those 3 special teams plays that were so critical, obviously the snap is an execution issue. The 2 returns,
They're execution issues. I mean, we got 3 guys unblocked on the kick return.
Well, I was about to ask about the punt return and the kick return. Is it a combination or one or the other of personnel?
Well, there's always a combination. Usually it's not necessarily always personnel. I mean, surely, the better players that are out there, the better you are. But no matter who's out there, they got to keep the ball inside and in front. We had on the kick return, we had 3 safeties. We had 2 guys falling out in the kicker for like a cover 3 umbrella. Well, the guy to the side that he broke in return to, don't stay outside him. He's unblocked. The guy just outruns him. He runs inside, and the guy outruns him. Where if he just stays outside, at least he's pushing it to the other 2, and there's 3 of them that can bracket it. And the return ends up being to the 40 or 45 as opposed to a house call to take all the momentum that you just got back away. And even then, they kept fighting, found a way to come back, and really with 6 minutes to go, got the ball on the 35 with a chance to win the game if we can go put it in the end zone. Just couldn't. You have to give them credit too. That series, we make 7 yards on first down. We can't make 3 yards in 3 plays running the ball. 2 of the 3 plays, really 3 of the 3 plays, we turn a guy loose inside. These are guys that have played. I mean, turn them scot-free. I don't care who you are. You're not going to win many games if you do that.
Justin's obviously your most experienced skilled player right now going, and being a competitor, it's natural that he would try to take on more.
He tries to push, and then when you do that, you got to play within the system. It's like there's nothing wrong with the system. We've done it for 35 years. It works. You got to play within the system, and you got to let everybody do their job. And the last example, the fumble. I mean, it's a give read, hand the ball off. Now, we don't scoop the guy on the back. There's a lot of things that can happen. But again, to his, he's trying to make a play. He's trying to pull it and outrun them because he wants to make a play. Would you have made the first down on 3rd and 4? I don't know, but you would have dang sure got positive yardage. It would have been, if you didn't, it would have been 4th and 1 and you line up and play again, or whatever. But that's what happens when you start trying to press. And it's like this week, we've got to fix ourselves. It's like I told the coaches, we got to fix ourselves. I mean, North Carolina will have a good team and they'll come in here. I'm more worried about fixing our problems. We got problems we got to take care of from an execution standpoint. And the only thing I can figure is sometimes when you have kids who have played, they outsmart themselves. Because, I mean, you'll get an answer, well, I thought that this guy was going to do that because 2 plays before he did. No. Just block the rule and block the guy and quit thinking. Just play, you know.
What was the deal with Bo Hankins?
He's been beat up and physically, and I think that he just felt like he needed to – he's going to graduate in May. And when he got another concussion in the last game, he just came in to see me that he wanted to hang it up, you know. So it'll be good. We'll stay with him, you know, through academically. He's got all the help he can get. We'll try to help him graduate and do whatever we need to for him to get finished in May. But his plans are to graduate in May.
The special teams, obviously, you had the 2 big plays before that. Were there
3 plays.
I'm sorry,
You snap
3.
it over the punter's head. That's a pretty big play.
Were
Yeah.
there signs that, you know, the coverage wasn't where you wanted previously?
No.
I mean,
Long kickoff return, we probably outsmarted ourselves too, because it's like we've kicked off one way all year, and we kick off the same way opposite to the other side. You know, I think he was trying to kick it away from 20. Well, they just swapped, and now it should be simple to me and you, but when you don't have problems, just kick it the way you've been kicking it. You know.
Is there any chance you'll get Chung-Gong and Gamble back this week?
Yeah. There's a good chance. I feel reasonably sure Chung-Gong will be back. I don't know about Pat.
Bill Belichick's famous for saying, you know, do your job. Are your guys,
See it.
when you say they're pressing, are they trying to do more than their specific thing? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think just do your job. And then sometimes you can get frustrated when you're doing your job and other guys aren't doing theirs, and it clouds things for you, and it makes it – and that's when you start pressing. But you can't do it. You just got to stay within – there's answers in the system for stuff. You got to stay within it and let the answers take place. I mean, work on your deal, you know.
Paul, when you have a situation where guys are out thinking themselves or pressing, what's the solution other than just saying, hey, stop thinking so much, just make the play? Is
I
there
think you
anything
just
more
got to
that can be
play.
done?
You know, you got to play, and we'll go back at it and practice again, and I'll go over there. I mean, I stressed to the coaches too this week that you can't learn the plays by fronts and by what you got to have. You got to know the rules. You got to know the rules. I mean, there's so many plays in the game, and we're missing stuff too. I mean, you know, we had 2 checks for blitz, and we don't ever get either one of them. We do check on 3rd and 2 when we shouldn't have. You know, and we end up getting – we don't make the first down. Just stuff like that. I've got some thoughts on that, so we'll see if we can't help on Saturday that way.
When you've got a situation where you've admitted Justin has at times pressed the last couple weeks, does that have a cumulative effect on his teammates? They look to him for leadership and execution. They
No,
see
I
him
think
out as
he's –
involved?
no, they still look to him for leadership. I mean, I don't think that – and I don't want to even suggest remotely that that's the problem, that he's pressing. He can play better, and we can coach better, but he's not the issue. You know, he's the guy who gives you a chance. It's like when he's getting all the pressure, I mean, if you watch, the first guy very seldom gets him. I mean, he keeps things alive. He does stuff. I think that where I'm saying press sometimes, I think he tries to do too much as opposed to just relax and play and let it come to him. He's a good enough player and a good enough athlete. It's going to come to him anyway. That's all I was talking about.
Coach, for the guys that have played, I know you've been through this a long time, you know the deal, but for the guys that have played, having gone through something similar last year, 2 losses and then reeling off all those wins you did, is that helpful for them at all for this season?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. To me, we got to get ready to play the next game. I mean, you take it one game at a time, and as hard as you try, sometimes I think guys get ahead of themselves. You know, and they get ahead of themselves. And if you go back and you look, last year's team got much better as the year went along. That's what this year's team needs to do. They got to get better every week as we play. And if they'll do that, the rest of the stuff will take care of itself. I mean, we could have very easily last year lost a couple of those early games where we won. We found ways to win at the end. Like this year, we'd have won that Duke game last year. Somebody would have made a play, or we'd have popped at the end when we got the chance, or whatever, the way the year went. I shouldn't say we'd have won because they were good on defense. I don't want to diminish what they did. Their kids played really good.
With the issues on pass blocking, are the blockers outnumbered, or is it just a case of missing blocks?
Both. Sometimes when it's a blitz, you got to check. Got to recognize it. We've got to do a better job coaching him so he recognizes the blitz.
Michael and Quay, seriously, Michael Summers, is there any updates on them?
Yeah, Quay's out. I mean, he's out 8 weeks or so. He's done.
Michael Summers?
It's going to be a while.
Shamir, I noticed he came out.
He's all right.
He's all right?
Coach, after 2 straight losses now, what's the overall confidence of the team right now?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask them. I think that generally today, society, kids are pretty confident guys. I think our guys have played enough here, and they've had enough success offensively. I think they're disappointed in the way we've played because that's not normal. You know, you're never going to be perfect all the time, but I think they know we can play a lot better than we played. And I don't think the confidence is – I just think they're disappointed, you know, because when they watch it, they can't believe it. They can't tell you why they did that, or, you know. So we just got to relax and play.
No North Carolina.
Need to get off to a better start. The last 2 games in the first quarter have been abysmal offensively, and we've gotten – and it doesn't help when you do that special teams wise, and 8 minutes into the game it's 19-3, and you've probably given up 100 yards, you know, so it's just different that way.
North Carolina likes to play 2 quarterbacks, especially last game. Trubisky got a lot of time. Differences you see in those 2 guys?
They're both mobile quarterbacks. They both can run. I think they both fit their system. They're both good players. North Carolina has as good a skill players as anybody you're going to play, running backs, receivers, quarterbacks. I mean, they got a lot of skill.
You said for the game yesterday, we were asking about the line and their experience, and you said, I'm not sure it was all that great last year, and you're talking about Zach and St. John breaking a lot of tackles. Can you comment a little further on just what you saw in their play last year and how it was?
Well, I think early in the year we struggled, and as the year went along, they got better, you know. That's what I was talking about. Early in the year we weren't great up there last year. But as the year went along, they got better towards the end of the year. And I'm really hard on those guys because they're the guys who have played. It's ridiculous for them to be screwing it up. You know, it's like I can understand if you got a freshman. You know, there's probably, with all due respect to Savannah Christian, there's probably a little difference for Brad Stewart lining up at Notre Dame than he playing Savannah Christian at Benedictine. I mean, that's a transition. You know, those guys have played. They shouldn't be the problem. They should be the solution.
Just an earlier, but with the blocking, is there just one thing that has to happen first?
I don't know that it's so much. I don't know that it's so much the blocking as it is. Well, I guess it's both, but it's knowing who you're blocking, where the ball's going, what you're doing, and as you play teams that are better, you can't get away with it. You know. Against teams where you're averaging 9 yards a play, okay, you miss the guy, it doesn't matter. You come back on 2nd and 10, you make 9 yards, you know, or you make 50 yards or whatever. When you play good defenses, and like I said going in, Duke's a very good defense. I think they got 7 seniors that have all played for probably 3 or 4 years started. And they play pretty good team defense. Well, you miss a guy or you turn a guy loose and it becomes 2nd and 9. Now it's a lot more difficult, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. You're going to get beat physically sometimes. Don't beat yourself mentally.
Do you have an update on? It seemed like Patrick was pretty banged up after the game.
Patrick Scove? Yeah, I think he's all right.
I was watching a little bit of the game, and like there's one series that was.
Me too.
Yeah, we can get together and talk about it. After they went up 13-3, you went 3 and out. Justin ran twice, and then he got sacked. And it looked to me like the first one, just the A-back just missed a block as he ran past the.
I couldn't tell you, man. I mean, we'd have to look at the tape. I don't remember the series. I don't when it was 13-3.
Justin looked like it was an option. He cut it up because someone was coming right at him. He was running the left, and I think it was.
First 2 plays were both speed options, or yeah, we blocked the wrong guys on the perimeter. Yeah.
And then the sack looked like someone just got turned, like it was. I think it was a blitz. I think Cash came in, or excuse me. No, Cash. Yeah, Cash sacked.
Yeah, he got blocked to the ground. Yeah, and got up and tackled him. It was a strong blitz. We didn't get a check, and we sprinted out, and nobody got open and held the ball, and the guy got up. I mean, I shouldn't say he got blocked to the ground, but he got blocked. There was good players. Just because you got a guy for him don't mean they always get blocked. He came through just like at the end of the game. He came through one time. I told him before they went out there he was going to blitz. We pulled the guy out for him. They knew it. Guess what? He still couldn't get him. He's a good player, you know. I mean, that's what I say. Sometimes they're on scholarship too, and sometimes they win, you know, just because you go to them. So what you've got to make sure you do, you're going to win sometimes. They're going to win sometimes. Don't go to the wrong guy so that when you know, it equals out. Always go to the right guy and give yourself a chance.
It seemed like there may have been some issues between Justin and Patrick on the mesh a little bit in terms of pulling the ball, or Justin was just frustrated, or was Justin just frustrated because he missed a read?
I don't think so. We had a couple of ball handling problems. One time to our bench, the ball popped out, which was bad because that one was about to go for a big play. We finally got it right on the perimeter. And then the only other time, I mean, there's always you know, it's like playing. You're not going to make every read right. But I can't think of another one that was really, maybe could have kicked it one time. But I don't, on the give, the only one that was really bad was the last one. And he thought, you know, the guy was squatting. And again, when you're struggling, sometimes you know, and I've told him that myself. Hey, if the guy gets turned down in there and you can outrun him, pull it. Well, he thought he could get around him. And I think he could have got the ball pitched if he hadn't gotten caught from behind. And on that play, you got 2 guys blocking back and 1 guy scooping. They're not on the same page, you know.
The defense obviously has been playing the last 2 games pretty well. You know, and the
Well,
Notre
I'd
Dame
say the
was,
last half of the game they played pretty well.
But the problem with Notre Dame was there were a few big plays. That with Duke, it was just a really bad start. Are there commonalities there that you can address, or are those 2 really separate kind of?
I think the biggest thing is you got some, you know, we're a little better on 3rd downs. We're better on 3rd downs. This game we created some, you know, we got some turnovers in the second half, which was big and got them off the field. But the 3rd downs in the second half were big. That's, you know, and they took some shots. They threw it, 3 times on 3rd and 1 and didn't get any? Yeah. So you're off the field. So, you know, the defense did a nice job in that of the second half, just, you know, not giving up big plays and giving you a chance to come back in the game. I mean, they played their tail off in the second half. You know, I guess that's what I'll say about it.
Anything else?
You guys actually are doing really well with penalties, and I'm curious what has gone into that, or what you make of.
We've always been good penalties. Now I'll say that we'll have 100 this weekend, but that's, if you look historically, we've been pretty good that way.